Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. Yours truly at the helm, the exceptional one, Ken McClinton. We have with us in a blessed occasion tonight a strong man of God with a lovely family who is willing to take the risk of coming to Washington and draining the swamp and sweeping out the old wine, so that we might be able to use new wineskins. None other than Brian Wesley Flowers, live from Mississippi's Congressional 2nd District. Good evening, sir. It's a tremendous honor and pleasure to have you on the air. We thank God for your service in the military and the U.S. Navy. This is where I want to start first, because Joe Biden was vice president at the time that you served in the military, if I'm correct. And in addition to that, under the Obama administration, there seemed to be a disfiguration of the U.S. military. I wanted to get your insights, your thoughts regarding the Obama administration's handling of the military and Donald John Trump's handling of the military.
Well, one phrase that comes to mind when I was in the military was "do more with less." They constantly told that to us because we didn't have all the different monies that were available to us to get the upgrades or to get the tools that we needed to do our jobs. There was a lot of times I sat down in the engine room and was making my own O-rings.
Really?
Put inside the valves. So, and fortunately, they had O-ring splicing kits to where you could actually get them and actually make them. So, but we weren't shipped the correct one that was for that specific valve or anything like that. We had to go measure it out, cut it, and basically super glue it together and put it into the system. So, but that was the constant phrase that we were told was do more with less. And a lot of us, we had to come to that realization that that's what it was going to take. So I think that the what was given to us in the military, or lack thereof, when I was in, versus what President Trump has done with the military, he has strengthened our military. He has given them the tools that they need. He has upgraded their systems. We are ready to fight more than we were 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and we can keep on going all the way back, because I promise you, Joe Biden was in office for, for over 46 years, 47 years.
Yeah.
So we can keep going back. His entire time that he was in, never did he once try to help the military. So, and you can go back and look at his voting record to see that.
Exactly.
But President Trump has gone above and beyond. In the 3 years that he's been in, he has upgraded and got us back to a fight. People need to think twice before they even start coming at the United States.
Yes, and this is a key point of what you said, that under the Obama administration, people didn't think even once. They came up against us. Under the Trump administration, people are second, third thoughts in terms of choosing to take us on, including China. And so I want to ask you, Benny Thompson, what has he done for the people of Mississippi? Because you mentioned Joe Biden, 47 years, nothing done. In 27 years of Benny Thompson, what have the people of Mississippi gotten?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Ken. They haven't got anything. They haven't got any bang for their buck, to be honest with you. In 27 years, and this is what, when I'm going around and I'm doing all these different meet and greets, I tell people, it was like, if you were to Mississippi District 2 27 years ago, and you were to give them and show them 27 years ahead, this is what you're going to get in 27 years with this man right here. They'd have told you to hang your hat somewhere else and go pack sand. We don't want any of that.
Mm-hmm.
They have, the infrastructure has deteriorated. The education system, same thing. It has gone down ever so slowly, over time. And every year we become more and more used to missing the mark. Well, we missed the mark this year. Okay, we're going to aim for it next year. Well, we missed it again this year. And it just keeps going down and down and down and down. Where, after 27 years, we don't have anything. In District 2, Madison School District and Clinton School District, where my daughters go to school, have an A rating. I think Wesson, at the end of last year, they were expecting to have an A, but COVID hit. They weren't able to test, and they were expecting to have an A. But let's, for argument's sake, let's assume they have a B, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're another one of the good school districts. But there are other places down here, Port Gibson School District, Warren Central School District, any of the schools up in the Delta area, they all have F ratings or
Wow.
D ratings. There are a couple of them that might have a C, but most of them are failing school districts. And our children are our future. Like I said, my kids are the reason I jumped into this race. Our kids are the future. If we don't do something to help them out, then they're not going to have anything. We're not going to have anything to give them.
Yes.
But the infrastructure has gone down. The education system has gone down. Which obviously, once those two go, jobs are the next ones to go. They're not going. These corporations aren't going to sit around if the infrastructure isn't there. If the education system isn't there to support their workers, they're going to pack up house and they're going to leave. And that's exactly what has been done.
Exactly. I can't think of any major piece of legislation that Benny Thompson has moved through the Congress in the 27 years there. What is his explanation to people in the 2nd Congressional District of Mississippi regarding the lack of a strong and robust economy, unlike the other districts that surround it and are represented by Republicans?
That's the key. Is he doesn't have an explanation. It's always, he keeps saying he's working hard for the people of Mississippi, but the only thing he's doing up in D.C. is actually pushing for more welfare and more money for free money, instead of working at trying to get jobs to come back to Mississippi. But when things don't go his way, it's always, well, it's the Republicans' fault, or it's this person's fault, or I can't do it because of this. He hasn't really given a clear, concise, or even taken, basically stood up and said, yeah, this is my fault.
Yeah. Now, 27 years in the 2nd Congressional District of Mississippi. Brian Wesley Flowers with us tonight. Just to let the public know, there is a large core of not only black but Asians that live in that 2nd Congressional District. How are they reacting to you versus Benny Thompson when it comes to race issues?
Well, as far as race issues, the people that I talk to, the black community that I've talked to, even the Asian community that I've talked to, because we have a few that I work with of the Asian community, and they support me wholeheartedly. The black community that I've talked to outside of my work, that's the large majority of the Delta, and in District 2, since we're 60-40 split, the people that I talk to, when I tell them what I'm wanting to run on, the education, the infrastructure, the jobs. It's one lady over in Grenada sit there, and as soon as I told her education, she's like, "Stop right there! You already have me.
There you go.
Right there. That's all I'm looking for." And a lot of these people, that's what they're looking for. They don't look to race, And when we do get into that conversation part of it, I tell them, like, look, race should not have any impact on what the people of District 2 are. Because every one of us, and this is what I keep telling at the meet and greets, we need everybody to stick together on this. We are District 2, we are Mississippians. Everybody is in this together. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. What I want to fight for in DC is I want to fight for the people of District 2, not for one party or the other. I am a conservative that wants to make good, common sense decisions that are going to be beneficial to the people of District 2. And there are a couple of people out there, because race is an issue right now, and it is being completely polarized right, with current events that are going on.
Yeah.
They see me not even knowing who I am, not knowing a thing about me. Oh, well, he's just another white Republican. He's not going to do anything for the black or brown community, which isn't even remotely close to the truth. So the challenge is trying to keep getting to the people that I can talk to. I'm not going to try and get to those people that are, well, I don't want to have anything to do with him. He's just another white boy, whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to say what they're going to. The people that are actually looking for true change are willing to sit down and talk. They're willing to say, look, I want this. What are you going to do to help me get this? And then when I lay out what I want to do, they sit there and they kind of sit back and like, okay, all right, sounds good. I had one lady, I was actually on Benny Thompson's Facebook page, and I made a comment and to one of the people that said something, and this one lady said, Benny Thompson's the one we need. You'd have a better chance of winning against 5 bears single-handedly. So we got into a conversation on his Facebook. We got into a conversation. It was a great conversation. There was no yelling, no screaming, no cussing, no disrespect, no on either side. We had a conversation. And by the time I was done, I told her, I was like, look, here's the deal. This is what you've got with Benny Thompson. This is what I want to do. By the time the end of the conversation, I asked her, I was like, on November 3rd, I would at least like you to attempt to consider me for the position of District 2 House of Representatives. And she was like, you have my word. I will take a look and see and do my research. So
awesome.
It went from a hard left to I got a plausible. I'm considering that one a win.
Exactly.
But, because I've planted a seed at that point. And if they actually take the time to review my history and they take the time to review what I'm about, then they're going to come around and they're going to see exactly what I can do for them. So there are some of the black community that doesn't want to they don't want to hear anything, because like I said, the environment unfortunately is as polarized as it is. There are some that just are not going to listen one way or the other, but the ones that will, the ones that want to sit down, they want a better life for not only them, but for their kids and their neighbors' kids and so on and so forth. Those are the ones that I'm reaching out to and that I'm inviting to come and listen to me talk and to actually make an educated judgment call. Is your life better 27 years ago? Is your life better 4 years ago than what it is right now?
I want to ask you here, because Benny Thompson is pro Black Lives Matter, since we're on the issue of race. And yes. I have to ask you here, are you pro Black Lives Matter? And are you for defunding police and dismantling police around the country, especially in impoverished black and brown neighborhoods?
Okay, so let me address the police question first. I am 110% in favor of our police departments. Being a prior military veteran, I see really no difference between our vets and our police force. And by that, I mean the military is on the front line defending America from her enemies, and is ready to make the stand to where they are willing to sacrifice their lives to make sure that everybody back home is protected and that no country comes here to cause trouble. Same way with our police officers. Our police officers are the same way. They step up and they put their lives on the front line to defend and protect each and every single one of us every day, day or night, to keep us safe and to keep people from coming in and into a doesn't matter really what neighborhood, into
Yeah,
a poverty ridden neighborhood. It could be a rich neighborhood. It doesn't matter. They're going to be there to protect the people that live there. So on that, I support our police 110%, and I will go head to head with somebody else that tries to defund the police. I don't care who it is.
there you go.
Now, second part of that question: do I support the Black Lives Matter? Okay, this one's a little tricky.
Hmm.
Do I support Black Lives Matter? I support and think that all lives matter. It doesn't matter if you're white, if you're black, if you're Mexican, Chinese, whatever. Every life matters. Okay, so do I support all and believe that all Black lives matter? Yes, I do. Now, with that being said, do I support the group BLM?
Yeah,
Because there is a difference. They have lost the message that they originally started out with and have turned it into a Marxist group that is hell bent on trying to destroy this country. There are many of the black community that feel the same way, that do not agree with what BLM is doing. They believe that Black Lives Matter just the same as I do,
yeah,
but they do not agree with the group BLM. I want to make that perfectly clear. I agree that Black Lives Matter. I do not support the BLM group because I think that their message has lost, and the people that originally supported them are being drug into and encouraged to fund an organization that is, like I said, they're bound and determined to tear this country down. So
exactly.
that like I said, it's a little tricky. But if anybody has any questions on this, believe me when I say this, I am probably the most uh, easygoing person to get along with anybody, and I believe that everybody has an equal say in everything that we do. That makes this country a great country. That's why we have elections. That's why we have the old saying, majority rules. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
that's kind of where we go.
exactly.
But
Elections have consequences, and if you vote the wrong people in, you will be responsible for dismantling America. It is very, very true. Benny Thompson is supportive of Black Lives Matter. Not only the Black Lives Matter Marxist statements, but the organization itself. And so you have to be very careful what you are instigating and inviting in your community, especially when you are dealing with communities that are already abased or broken down in terms of poverty. I want to ask you this final question because
yes,
I'm
sir.
going to have you come back before the election. Trust me on that one. I want to see that you win and that this gets out around the world. But in query, Brian, there are those who hear Joe Biden, who refers to an AR 15 as an AR 14, uh, who has
Yes.
basically stated that his goal is to take away the Second Amendment from individuals uh, in his first term. And literally, Kamala Harris has said the very same thing. What is your opinion on the Second Amendment, and how would you protect citizens in the Second Congressional District and also around the country?
My opinion on the Second Amendment is it was put there, and a lot of people don't really understand this or don't know it. They haven't done the research on it. They just think it's there to help for us to have weapons so we can go hunt, or we can go down into the range and go plink off some ammo or whatever. The originally the Second Amendment was put there to protect the American public against a tyrannical government.
Mm-hmm.
And that was put in place back in the colonial days when we got our independence from England.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't understand that. So as far as somebody trying to come in and gut the Second Amendment, I have a real big problem with that. Me being a prior military veteran, I do have several rifles. I have two AR-15s and an AR-10. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with Joe Biden at all when he says that he's going to be coming to come get our rifles. To be honest with you, he calls an AR-15 dangerous and other terms. But here's the deal: AR-15 or an AR-10 or any of the other ARs are semi-automatic rifles. There are
Mm-hmm.
many other semi-automatic rifles out there that they are not trying to come after. This is just another ploy to try to go after the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Period. That's all it is. And as far as protecting the people of District 2, I'm going to go to bat for the people District 2 and ensure that they're able to keep their Second Amendment intact. And I will rally every person I can up there in D.C. to ensure that that happens. I know there's one individual, another military veteran out of the Second Congressional District of Texas, Dan Crenshaw.
Yes.
He was over there, and he's a prior vet. You know, I can get people like him, any other military veterans, or anybody else that feels that the Second Amendment that is supposed to be there, and we can basically ensure that we have the majority or a large voice to ensure that we keep the votes to keep the Second Amendment in place. Because here's the deal: the president, whoever that may be, they can go after the Second Amendment, they can go after whatever they want to, but it still has to go through Congress first. We hold the power, the people hold the power, and that's the way it is. Not one person is any type of king or dictator. So basically it boils down to they've got to get through me first.
There you go. I love that. Here's my opportunity here, because you're in an urban district, as outlined, and it was drawn up out of the Mississippi legislator for a black person. That's the way. That was the reason why they drew, and virtually a black Democrat. It was drawn up in that particular fashion. So I want you to have the opportunity here to tell America's Republican Party why they need to come to help you in the second congressional district.
Well, the second congressional district, people are tired of the Democratic Party and the way that they are treating and ignoring the people here. Our current representative, Benny Thompson, is flat out ignoring the people of District 2. He does everything he can to get to make money, either backdoor deals, or people selling his vote off to whoever, just making a buck. And that's one of the reasons why he's become a millionaire on a
Congressional.
House Representative's salary.
Yeah.
So basically, I need the help down here. I need funding to help be able to get to the pockets of areas that are not accessible by Facebook. There's many of them, and many people out here in the District 2 that don't have access to Facebook. And that, for the love of God, that has been my saving grace, has been Facebook, because of COVID. I was in a refueling outage prior to getting through the primaries. So basically, I need help from the American Republican Party, because we need to be able to get commercials out. We need to be able to get more radio ads. We need to be able to hit all the different areas and the different media forms to be able to reach those people that cannot be reached by Facebook.
There you go. And one of the things, and you don't have to get into direct poll numbers, because we don't We know how those things mix. But a lot of Republicans step back and they say, Brian, Ken, you're going to lose in the urban region. Is the urban region right now winnable?
Yes. Um, and we the Republican Party is fired up like I have never seen it before. We thought it was fired up back in 2016 when President Trump was first running. It is way more geared up and ready to roll to ensure that one, President Trump has a decisive victory here in Mississippi, and two, to make sure that the Republican Party, actually gets a voice and ready to get Benny Thompson out of office and send him to retirement. They are, and I've got people in the Democratic Party. They have got on my Facebook page. I am a Democrat, but I will vote for anybody but Benny Thompson. So I've got people telling me this. I got the black community coming on board my Facebook page, liking my page. They're liking what I have to say, what I am preaching to these guys or to everybody in the district. It's resonating. People want change. They want our education system. Our kids are the backbone of what people are wanting. Second to that is they're wanting jobs. There was
Mm-hmm.
one individual sat there and made a comment that, Benny Thompson, got over 200 people houses. Well, great, but here's the problem: the underlining problem was never addressed. How are they going to pay for those houses? Because they're going to end up losing them through the taxes that are going to be assessed on the property. They don't have the jobs to pay for the house. So
Exactly.
they don't look at the big picture, but there are some out there that are getting the idea. They understand what I'm pushing for, and they are ready for that change. We just
Well,
need the help from anybody out there, whether it's President Trump or anybody else in the Republican Party, to come in, give me a hand with this, because I need the funding to be able to get my message through these last few weeks. We have got to make this last push. But to answer your question, there are many people out there that are ready for change, and they are stepping up and they are making their voice known.
you know what's really amazing, and I'm sorry, but I'm excited by your race. I'm excited by you and your fervent desire to win in the second congressional district. That you're fiscal and social conservative, and people are open to you. And this is that season. There are just certain times where people need to get up off their duff and join a race that's winnable. Remember, they said last summer that Joe Biden was up 14, 15 points and was going to win it hands down. And now he's 4 or 5 points behind in battleground states versus the polls. This is winnable here, despite what Cook Political Report says or Ballotpedia. You can sweep Mississippi for the first time in decades. A sweep of Mississippi. And Brian Wesley is the guy to make that happen. Mr. Flowers is that guy. Serviceman, loyal family, believer of Jesus Christ, a man who is faithful to Mississippi. This is the guy you want. GOP, conservatives, black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. Get up, help this man. Help him with making phone calls. $5 or $10 here and there. Send him what he needs. They're 3 weeks out. He can put some radio ads on AM and FM stations down there and sweep the second Congress. He would take Benny Thompson by complete and total surprise. This is your moment, America. Win it and win it big. Brian Wesley Flowers, we will have you back in a couple of weeks, and we will encourage people to not only find you on Facebook, but I'm going to encourage you to go to Gab, go to MeWe and go to Parler. Set up your accounts because you're going to start reaching out to them in many ways. Facebook hates you. They hate me. Okay? Twitter hates you. They hate me. But there are people out there on LinkedIn and all the other places that are willing to help your campaign. I'll send you a list of those. I want to thank Dave Milner for making that recommendation. But how can people get in contact with you, Mr. Flowers, to win this victory?
I can be reached a couple of different ways. I've got a website at www.flowersforcongress.com, and you can reach me there. You can also see different subjects that I have on there as a little bit, and also as a background on there as well. There's also a place on there you can give and donate to the campaign. Another place that you can get me is on Facebook at Brian Flowers for Congress. Again, if you scroll down through the different posts that I put on there, there is a post that has a Anadot secure link that you can go to and donate to the campaign as well. Currently, right now, those are the two that I've been really focusing on right now. Facebook is going to have more of your up-to-date posts and videos that I've made. Fortunately, I haven't been put in Facebook jail, so they haven't really cracked down on me yet. Probably has something to do. I'm actually having to purchase ads through Facebook, so as long as they're getting paid, they'll let me stay on there a little bit.
Exactly.
But right now, those two, like I said, Facebook, Brian Flowers for Congress, and on my website at www.flowersforcongress.com. Both sites you can give to the campaign, and I would greatly appreciate all the donations that I can get from now until the end of the race. So this is winnable. I want to make sure that everybody understands that we have got to push to the end. I don't believe that former Vice President Biden and Kamala Harris are going to be able to get the energy to get the Democrats excited. And even the Democrats that are going to come out and vote, a lot of them are coming out to vote for me.
There you go.
And for a better district too. My message right now, it was at the start of this race, I had the slogan, "It's time for a change," and I'm about ready to change that slogan to let's rebuild our district. So because there is such an excitement right now, I have yet to meet anybody that on the ground, when I shake their hand and look them in the eyes and tell them what I want to do, I've yet to find somebody that says, no, that's not what I want. No, I don't want that. I mean, we were just down in Vicksburg at the annual flea market that they have down there, and obviously it probably has a little bit to do with it, but COVID and everything else.
Yeah,
everybody was kind of ready to get out out of the house. But I was told bring a couple of signs, 20, 30 signs. Well, I decided to bring 50. I ran out of the ones that I brought, and we were taking orders for people from when I got home to send them after I got back to the house. So, there is that excitement out here. Batesville, Water Valley, all these different areas that are just ready to go. Carrollton, Carroll County up there in North Carrollton. I've got a meet and greet with them on Thursday. I've got a meet and greet with Batesville on Saturday. We'll see how that one goes with the hurricane coming in. But I'm telling you, there is an excitement like no other right now, and people are wanting the exact same thing. They're wanting their infrastructure put together, they're wanting their education, and they're wanting jobs. And the biggest key is they're wanting bills put together that doesn't have all this fluff that's going to cost them more money.
Exactly.
You asked earlier, and I'm going to end on this one topic real quick. And
yes, sir.
And I apologize for going over my time.
No, go ahead. You're on fire.
The earlier this year, Benny Thompson touted out on his Facebook page that he had just voted to approve a infrastructure bill. And I got to looking at that thing, and it was right down party lines. There's 188 no's for something that should be so bipartisan as an infrastructure bill that is going to help America. There should never be 188 no's. So I dug into this thing and started looking through it. And it was chock full of nothing but the Green New Deal just shoved in there, where every state had to meet two different carbon emissions reduction criteria before they were even allowed to have the money that they were supposed to be getting for infrastructure. This is the problem. If we need it, we need to have infrastructure. Fine. Here's a bill. By definition, this is what infrastructure is. Vote on it. If you want the Green New Deal, fine. Bring the Green New Deal up by itself as it stands. Debate it, vote on it, and if it's strong enough to stand on its own and it gets approval by Congress, then we put it through. But don't try to start shoving 4, 5, 6 bills into one and turn that thing into 5,000 or 6,000 pages. I'm going to tell you right now, nobody's going to read that in that short amount of time that they're given the bill before they have to vote on it.
Exactly.
They can't do it.
Exactly. One of the things that we will all note is that Marxism doesn't work in Cuba, Venezuela, the Russian nation. It doesn't work in China, and it doesn't work in Mississippi's Congressional District 2.
That's right.
Don't go that way, Mississippi 2. Go the way of Brian Wesley Flowers. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Wesley Flowers, we'll have him on before the election. I need for you all to support, tweet, text, MeWe, LinkedIn, Gabbit. If they came up with something overnight I don't know about, send his name out there. Give him the support that he needs so that we can win the Congressional District 2 and send the world into a tremor about what's happening about freedom and liberty in America. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, sir.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate the opportunity.
God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people always ask me at this particular hour of the night, why is it, Ken, that you always stop? You're on a roll. You had a great conversation with a great man. We're ready to rock and roll. Well, I need to ask you two major questions at a time like this. And they're very simple. Number one, do you know where your children are? And then number two, do your children know where you are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?